A episode 143 tragedy. We Made It Podcast at WeMadeItPodcast.com. We Made It Podcast on all social media. Man, so sad to record this episode like this. Let me tell y'all what happened, so y'all can just leave now. But so Caesar and I, today is February 4th, 2020. Caesar and I recorded an episode together, episode 143, recorded a whole hour and a half episode. Now, while we were recording, something happened with the camera and it just cut off. So I was like, what the heck just happened? That never happened before. So I unplugged it and plugged it back and then it pressed record again on the camera. And it was fine. But what happened was, that was about 8 minutes in to the episode. But what happened was, it turned the podcast mic off and then made it record into the camera mic, which sounds like garbage. So our whole hour and 20 minutes episode audio was terrible. And when we stopped recording, and I looked at the audio file, it looked crazy, and I was like, oh no. That happened to us one other time. The last Champions League final, that happened to us. And we had to record the episode again. And so it's kind of exhausting to record a whole hour and a half episode, and you can't really have the same energy, and things are spontaneous and fun in that moment. So this is you know what? I'll just go over this stuff by myself. I'm not going to torture Caesar with having to record it again. So I'm just going to go over what we talked about in the episode. And, because we did talk about some important things. But obviously it's not going to be the same as when me and Caesar recorded the episode, because that episode was great. But it's gone now. So we definitely started off the episode. Well, I guess I shouldn't do it like that. I should actually just say what we talked about, since y'all didn't hear the other one. It is our first episode during Black History Month. Here in America, February is Black History Month. I don't know where you're listening. We've had some international downloads recently in Brazil and Germany and Portugal, Saudi Arabia. So I wanted to highlight some different people having to do with Black History Month in sports. And I would love for somebody to look up the person named Arthur Wharton. Somebody look up Arthur Wharton and tell me what you find. I'm going to talk about some other people, but I'm going to leave that to the audience. Somebody look up Arthur Wharton. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram. We Made It Podcast, very easy. We Made It Podcast at Gmail. If you want to email us, you want it to be private, you can DM us, whatever. And tell us what you find when you look up Arthur Wharton. He has to do with soccer. It's an important man. Also wanted to highlight some pioneers. Fritz Pollard, Bobby Marshall, the first two black players in the NFL. The first black person to play in the NBA, Nat Sweetwater Clifton. And I'm pretty sure that was in the I think the NFL guys were in the 1920s. So it's 100 years ago. Or one of them was. I think the NFL was 1920s. And also wanted to highlight the pinnacle of black excellence in sports, one Pelé of Brazil. Monumental career and just a legend walking. He's getting up in age, and he's having some ailments. We don't know how long we're gonna have him, but Pele is one of those people that it's like Ronaldo, Messi, and Pele. People know those names if they don't know anything about soccer. And he's one of those names that's gonna be around forever probably, because he's a legend and he won a bunch of World Cups, and he's always been somebody that's always been a good character person. And when Caesar and I were recording, I talked about a lecture I watched a few years ago. There was a man who wrote a biography about Pele, or I don't know if it was like the autobiography, and he was like hanging around Pele, whatever. But he had spent some time with him, maybe a couple weeks or so, and he was talking about how like in the beginning it wasn't really easy to get him to kind of like open up about things, and then he mentioned how he showed Pele a picture of someone or something like that, and Pele was like, "Oh, I've met him," and he like kind of kept on talking about different like important people, and Pele was talking about how he met everybody, and was like, "Oh yeah, that guy's a nice guy," and it's just like rattling off these people that like Pele knew around the world, and it was like really cool because he kind of realized like how everybody loves him, and you know, people don't necessarily think of blackness when they think of Brazil, but they should because like their most legendary player is Pele, and his nickname was the Black Pearl. Um, but yeah, Black History. Why is Caesar calling me? Oh man, he doesn't realize I'm recording right now. Oh, screw it. I might as well just answer while I'm recording. Yes, sir. I'm actually recording the episode right now. But what's up? Oh, it's all the way flat. Jeez. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. Just try to fill it up really high and just like drive slow on it home. Probably that's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. That's weird. See if they got a cap in there. See if they got a cap in there. Yeah. All right. All right. That was Caesar. You got a flat tire. Oh yeah, this episode's ratchet. I apologize. But yeah, the pinnacle of black excellence, Caesar Souza and Pele. Okay, what else did we talk about? Oh, we talked a little bit about the Real Madrid, the Madrid derby, a little bit. Not really that much. We just talked about how. Ernesto Valverde had an amazing game, and he's a baller. And I did a Valverde tracker. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, like all the pluses and minuses. It was two minuses that were in the first half. In the second half, he was phenomenal, and that goal was really dope between Vinicius Jr. Ferland Mendy to Benz. It was really dope, and like Atletico Madrid's garbage. Um, we also talked about PSG drama. What's going to be? Oh, the other day when PSG played Montpellier at home, when Thomas Tuchel subbed Mbappe at it was around the 60 something minute. They were up 5-0 already, if I'm not mistaken. And Mbappe was like not having it. He went off. He was like very upset, and I really felt like there was a bunch of different things going on, but aside from Mbappe kind of lashing out in that way, which I don't approve of, I my ultimate blame was on Thomas Tuchel because I feel like Thomas Tuchel is lazy. Um, that's a situation that you can mitigate way before. You're playing these league games and you know that coming up. Okay, so they played Montpellier on the weekend. You know you got Nantes Tuesday today, February 4th. Then you got Champions League coming up in like a week or so, like some like 10 days or whatever. You gotta let the players know, hey, if in these coming league matches we get up by like 3 goals, I'm gonna start subbing out the players that I need the most. Tuchel's relying heavily on Neymar, Mbappe, Icardi, and Di Maria right now, and like to some extent Sarabia as like the person that's gonna come in if Neymar or Di Maria get hurt. Um, that conversation about like subbing a player out needs to happen way before like that moment. Mbappe shocked coming off the pitch, and I don't think that should happen. Also, I think Mbappe didn't necessarily want to be like, I don't think it was like, oh, you're subbing me out as much as you're subbing me out and you're keeping Neymar in. Because me personally, I don't really think Mbappe and Neymar really have the like relationship that they seem to have at this point. I think that they've been cool, but I think that Mbappe is kind of like, Neymar hasn't been there in the critical moments, and Mbappe had his thing about like wanting to have more responsibility, and Neymar also tried to leave in the summer, and no matter what people say, and I know like Mbappe and Neymar, they celebrate together and things like that, they look like happy together, but things like that are going to stick with the player. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you tried to leave, and also Neymar being able to leave for his birthday and being fake injured or whatever. Also, take notice that Mbappe did not go to Neymar's birthday party. He chose to go to Blaze My Tweety's like fundraiser thing instead, and didn't go to the birthday party after. Not that, I mean, that sounds kind of gossipy, but like I think that's a thing. Like even Cavani was at Neymar's birthday thing, so I think Mbappe's kind of like, look, like I'm the man here, not him, and like you're subbing me off when this guy doesn't even take it as serious as I do. And but I think that could have been mitigated by Thomas Tuchel if he wasn't lazy and if he wasn't like, hey guys, like we got something important coming up in Champions League. I'm not gonna risk that. Like I know you guys scoring goals and getting assists and like getting highlight reel goals is like very important for you, but it's not gonna matter if we don't make it past BVB. And we saw that last season when PSG didn't make it past Man U, like they collapsed at the end of the season. Like it was horrible. They lost 5-1 to Lille. So Thomas Tuchel is my ultimate blame for that situation. And yeah, I think it could have been avoided for sure. What else did I say? Yeah, and I think Mbappe wants to have. I think Mbappe would love to win the scoring title again, and there's some competition. I think Wissam Ben Yedder is top of the goals so far in the league, and like Mbappe and Neymar are kind of neck and neck. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I think Mbappe wants to win the scoring title. But either way, like we talked about it last episode or the episode before that, that it's now or never for PSG. Like this could be the summer where you've already pushed Cavani out the door. Neymar is like tried to push himself out the door last season, and Mbappe is flirting with other teams. Like the Mbappe to Real Madrid thing seems like very much bound to happen, but he's also kind of flirted with Liverpool a little bit, and he speaks good English. I like PSG's got to be worried. Like, yo, if you don't win, like I feel like the only way they could keep Neymar or Mbappe is by like at least getting to the final of Champions League, like at least. And I don't know, we'll see. But it could be like a mass exodus this summer. And actually, I didn't mention this with Caesar, but I've heard some rumblings before about Qatar kind of ending their relationship with PSG, but I don't know about that. Also, Barcelona drama. So I'm not gonna pull up the article because like it's not really that serious since we lost our episode. But and this episode is probably gonna be very short. Obviously, we don't have like each other to bounce off of. Apologies. Barcelona got some drama going on. What's his name? Eric Abidal came out and said that he basically kind of accused some of the players of not playing really hard, and he was also critical of Xavi, and it seemed like he was somewhat critical of Ernesto Valverde. The Xavi stuff doesn't really matter that much, but he came out saying like what he's like criticizing the play on the pitch and insinuating, I guess I'll say to give him some credit, like that players weren't playing hard for real. And Messi actually came out on Instagram to deny that, and he had a whole long post talking about and like posted screenshots of Eric Abidal's comments saying that basically in a nutshell, like, I hate to have to do this, but, like kind of like saying like, if you're in management, just do that and let the players play. And if you're going to speak about the players, like say who you're talking about by name, because if not, then like people are going to attribute that to all the players. Now, me and Caesar went off on this, and Caesar went off like big time, but Messi kind of saying like, oh, say the players by name, like, Eric Abidal's not going to do that, because if he's even talking about Messi, which I don't necessarily think he is, but if he's saying like, yeah, even Messi's not, like if he said that out loud, like it's over for him. Like he's going to get fired like right away and probably never get a job in football management again. But, I don't know why Messi, what I did say is like, with Messi coming out is kind of like the old adage, like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Like, you look guilty by coming out and speaking out against what Eric Abidal is saying. we've all watched Barcelona play this season, and they've looked bad. Like even when they're winning matches, like it doesn't really look like great football. And I said that like a month ago, like maybe to the day. I think it was January 4th. Like Barcelona look boring, and there's like the only person that looks dynamic is Messi. Even Ansu Fati, whatever you guys want to say, does not look dynamic. He got some like 2 goals. He got a brace the other day, and it was like basically off of some amazing assists by Messi. But it's drama, and I'm sure Messi doesn't want to be having to. Well, I'm sure he doesn't want to like see that someone that's inside the Barcelona staff talking about the team playing bad. But Barcelona doesn't get criticized by the media for real, and Messi never does. So I think for him, it's like, yo, like I'm not gonna take any criticism, so I'm gonna speak out against it, and all these fans and all the media is gonna be on my side, which they probably are. But I'm not gonna be like, obviously here we're not gonna do that. We're gonna look at it objectively, and I think Eric Abidal has a point. I don't necessarily think he should have said it in the media, but like whatever, we're watching them play and they look bad, but you also never really want to question a player's work ethic, but he was like, one of those. Eric Abidal himself was like one of them like grinding players, and if he's looking at a lot of guys walking around and just kind of being lackadaisical and lazy and careless mistakes, like it's gonna make him frustrated because he bleeds Barcelona, like he wants them to be the best, and them playing like that is just like you look, second best in the league for sure. And who knows what's going to happen in Champions League, especially after seeing 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row them getting like trounced by teams even before the semifinals, most of them. But yeah, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Oh, what else did we talk? We talked about some transfers. I'll go through them just so we can have a little bit of time on this episode. Let me pull these bad boys up. Make sure you're subscribed. Apologies for this episode again. But it wasn't our fault. So some transfers that happened this winter. Nico Gaitan de Lille on a free from Chicago Fire. Me and Caesar had a good time with that one. Igalo to Man U on loan from a team in China. I wish I wrote down. I just put from China. I got to stop doing that. But it's from a team in China. See, like Igalo's a good player. I don't know like what he'll end up doing for Man U, but I think he's the type of center forward that can get something going for Man U and maybe have some good hold up game. Hold up game isn't really Rashford or Martial's forte. Igalo's like a big, strong center forward, and I think he can do some good for them. We'll see what happens though. Kevin Prince Boateng on loaned to Besiktas from Fiorentina. This is his 12th team. Yannick Ferreira Carrasco is finally back in Spain, back on loan to Atleti from his team in China. What is it? Dalian something. Yang, I forgot. But they definitely sold him up the river to that team because that team owns the Wanda Metropolitano. Like that, it's like the Chinese team is owned by the Wanda Group, which like built Atleti's new stadium. So they definitely sold Carrasco up the river, and now he's back. And he did play against Real Madrid. Florenzi to Valencia on loan from Roma. Baller right back. And he actually played the other day too. I forgot who they were playing, but I did see him come in the match. And he's only 28 years old. I was actually shocked by that. And I wrote that he only has 35 caps in his whole career. I've always thought Florenzi was a baller, and I'll never forget he had that crazy goal against Ter Stegen, like half the field. It was a gangster's goal ever. Danny Rose on loan to Newcastle from Tottenham. We also talked about that a little bit. I remember a couple years ago when Danny Rose was saying like, "Oh, I'm tired of Tottenham buying players that you have to Google to find out who they are." He had also said in that interview that he is like wants to finish his career in Northern England. I guess that's where he's from. Your boy Piatek is on transferred from Milan to Hertha Berlin. I thought that was kind of crazy because they were talking about Piatek to like big teams. I feel like I saw him rumored to Barcelona and stuff like that. Hertha Berlin is in 13th place in Bundesliga. One of 4 teams that scored less than 25 goals this season, and they haven't won the league since before Hitler was in power. So I'm like, damn dog, like you really downgraded. Even though like Milan sucks, but it's still like Milan, dude. Paco Alcácer to Villarreal, transferred from BVB, 19 million. I guess Paco Alcácer kind of grown out of favor with Lucien Favre, even though he was balling out last season. I don't really know what happened with that, but he's in Villarreal now. Same colors though. Bruno Fernandes to Man U, big transfer, probably the biggest transfer of the season of the winter transfer, 46.5 million. I from Sporting Lisbon. I put that a midfielder cannot thrive at Manchester United, so that's a big mistake for him. Christian Eriksen to Inter from Tottenham, transferred for 17 million. I put that's bad business by Tottenham. They could have gotten way more than 17 million for him if they let him leave in the summer. Real Madrid was going to at least pay 40 for him because he's a good player, and he's already been playing for Inter as well. Biggest transfer actually, Hatem Ben Arfa to Real Valladolid. He hasn't played since last season at Rennes. Hatem Ben Arfa, one of the, biggest hypes out of France in a long time, who just definitely just was like, that's too much pressure trying to be good. Let me just like be regular and see what I can do. And he made a lot of money at PSG sitting around. Jean-Kevin Augustin, how the mighty have fallen. This dude went from, he was transferred to RB Leipzig from PSG. Then he got loaned to Monaco this season, first half of the season. Now he got loaned to Leeds United, literally playing in the championship. I'm like, damn, dog. Like, you went from a team competing for Bundesliga, then to Monaco, who's like not doing that great this season, but damn. And now you went to a team in the second division in England. Rough. And finally, Odriozola, Real Madrid right back. He got loaned to Bayern. And then today he broke Ivan Perisic's ankle. Literally. Not like he shook him up, like he fouled him at training and broke his ankle. But I figured I like Odriozola. Cesar likes him a lot too. He's a good right back. But I guess Real Madrid has some cover at right back. They obviously start Dani Carvajal. Nacho can play right back, and Lucas Vazquez can play right back. Okay, what else did we talk about? Oh, we were gonna actually, you know what? The bright side of this episode getting lost, the original episode, is that we were going to. Well, I guess we didn't do it anyway, but if we had done what we were supposed to do, we were going to reconfigure all the football federations, like the FIFA confederations. If we would have done that and then like go back to like have to do that again, like that would have sucked. We actually didn't do it. I had only done half of the assignment and Caesar didn't start it. So we can save that, but I'm glad that we didn't do it and had done the whole thing in the episode that was lost, because it would have been at least a 30-minute segment and it would have made the episode 2 hours. But we'll save that for a next episode. What else? Oh, we talked about the Super Bowl, obviously. Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers. I was actually thinking that the Chiefs were going to win because my kind of thing in American football is that usually the most explosive team wins, and that's basically what happened. It kind of took a while for them to come out. Halftime show was pretty rough, but I'm just joking. It was fine, but it was all Zumba songs, as I tweeted. I don't know why that tweet didn't go viral, but yeah, the Super Bowl was cool. I didn't really watch the Super Bowl. I think I watched like maybe like 3-4 plays total, but yeah, the Chiefs won. Andy Reid got his ring. And the XFL starts this Saturday. But yeah, anyway, that's just like a short kind of outline of the episode that we had. This is less than 30 minutes, what I'm doing, but our episode was an hour and 30 minutes. But just a shame that the audio gets corrupted so bad if it goes through the camera mic as opposed to the snowball mic, which is great, actually. But yeah, once again, we made a podcast at WeMadeItPodcast.com. We made a podcast on all social media. Make sure you follow C's on Twitch at We Made It C's on Twitch, and the homie Traj Mufasa's X Mufasa's Taquitos on Twitch. He's grinding to new season of Apex. And make sure you look up Arthur Wharton and get back to us. Let us know what you find. And yeah. Talked about Black History Month and some good stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I guess I'll play a song still. You're hearing 143 by Ray J and Bobby Brackens. Anyway, yeah, holler. We made a podcast.